Welcome to Anime Brew.
A caffeinated quest to avoid the real world one series at a time.
I'm Liz.
And I'm Maddie, aka Purple Riolu.
And today we have our guest, the wonderful Adam.
Hey, what's going on?
So, today we're gonna be talking about this awesome anime called Frieren.
Oh boy.
Yes.
It's gonna be a lot. But first we've got some silly segments. First off, it is Anime Brew, so we gotta talk about our caffeinated beverage of the month.
Yes. So, since you're the guest, Adam, what have you been ingesting?
No, I love that. As I'm sure a lot of our listeners also have this habit of consuming energy drinks, and I know that it's just not great for you in large quantities. So I've made a slight shift to drinking yerba mate, which has been really delightful. It's like this, it's almost like green tea matcha sort of, but it has like the caffeine in it, but it's like a little bit more natural, and it's been delightful.
Huh.
Nice.
What is it made out of? I've been
Um,
curious about.
s- mhm. So it's from. Oh, I have to like look it up. I just know that it's like almost like a dried Um, a dried leaf, but it's my Spanish isn't great. But it's called the chimicharo leaf. It's like a it's like a tea, but it's made from this like green leaf thing. There's it if you can't find like the yerba mate like loose leaf, you can also get there's like canned versions called yerba mate. It's like a yellow can, and they have a bunch of different flavors. They have like a blueberry, and there's like a red like a red berry. They call it red berry. I don't know what's actually in it, but yeah, they have like fruit flavored ones. So that's what I've been consuming instead of various other energy drinks.
So where do you find it? Because I've never
Mm,
heard of this.
Yeah, no, so there's a wonderful grocery store branch out in eastern on the eastern seaboard, especially in New York. It's called Wegmans, and they carry like a bunch of like specialty drinks, stuff that has like like probiotics and stuff like in it, like Olipop sodas. So they have like a whole like organic section. So if you check your local grocery store, sometimes it's in the organic section.
Okay, that's cool.
Okay.
Yeah, it's really tasty.
So,
Alrighty. So, Maddie, what have you been drinking?
well, you know, last episode, I accepted the challenge. I think it was a challenge, I don't know, to try matcha.
Mm.
So I tried the lavender matcha from Starbucks,
Oh,
and y'all, it's really good. It's
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 good.
it's really good, and I may have problems now, so I blame Liz for my life problems now. I can't stop. It's a I'm just kidding. But no, it's really good.
Yeah, it is. I'm glad.
And so yeah, I should get into matcha more because the other thing I've noticed, well, obviously I was kind of like looking into it and stuff too, and it's a lot less caffeine than like coffee.
Mm.
And I also feel like it doesn't hit the same, but like in a good way.
Mm-hmm.
Right.
Like like I cuz I will get those like afternoon crashes that is
Yeah.
probably in part due to that, and I don't think I get that as bad when I have
Hmm.
matcha
Yeah,
instead of coffee. So,
I did the same as well, actually.
Yeah. So there's
And
that. Oh, what were you saying?
I was just going to say matcha is a lot cleaner than coffee.
Mm-hmm.
Like the caffeine, it will last a lot longer. Because there's other elements that aren't caffeine in it that have the same effects. But it definitely does not give you the crash or any of the other things.
Yeah. Yeah, I was reading about the differences too a little bit because so I could feel like a superior human being while the rest of society drinks their coffee. I'm like, haha, I've got matcha. And I was telling my family about it. They don't even know what matcha is because we're Americans.
Oh, that's great. Yeah, no, I love matcha. It's yeah, it feels very refreshing, especially in the summer.
Mhm.
There's a couple of like local coffee shops that'll um do that with like a lemonade. So it's just like you get the, the nice, delightful lemonade with some matcha, and it just feels like summer.
Mm.
Yeah. Apart from that, I was going to challenge myself to try every new lavender item from Starbucks because I already get Starbucks way too much, so why not? But the thing was, I tried the lavender latte,
Mm.
iced latte, um, and I was just not feeling it with the lavender and the coffee. I thought it was kind of a weird flavor combination. I'd probably just have to get used to it, but I was like, I don't know if I really want to pay for this anymore. So I just went right back to matcha after that.
Mm.
So,
Do they have a lemonade with lavender on the menu?
uh, not that I recall. I mean, maybe I'd have to look in the app. I would think it would be more advertised if it
Yeah.
was, because I haven't seen.
That sounds
Oh, if
incredible.
not, you have to ask for a lemonade mixed in with a scoopful or whatever of lavender. Lavender lemonade is so good. It's addicting. One of my favorites.
You know what's funny is my roommate was doing this no caffeine challenge. She's still doing it actually. I think she's like
She's
3
brave.
weeks in now. Yeah, it's crazy. But she actually kind of failed because accidentally, because for whatever reason, she did not realize that the lemonade at Starbucks has caffeine in it. And
Oh no.
I'm like, this is Starbucks we're talking about. They don't know how to make something that doesn't have like 1,000,000 milligrams of caffeine in it. So, but yeah, because yeah, I went with her one time and she got that. And then I had forgotten she was even doing the challenge. And then she went, wait a second, does this have caffeine in it? And I went, yeah. She was like, oh no. And then I was like, oh no. Yeah, that's a funny story. But
That's great.
anyway, um, that's about it. Nothing else
Mm.
unique that I've been ingesting.
Well, for me, um, as the at-home Starbucks barista, I've
Mm.
made myself a basically almond joy coffee.
Ooh.
So it's coffee. I do coconut milk and a pump of vanilla and a pump of hazelnut and either chocolate syrup or chocolate powder. And it almost basically tastes like an almond joy.
Ooh.
Ooh.
That sounds so good.
It does. Yeah, it is. I need to figure out a way to get a stronger coconut flavor. Probably
Mm.
need to get like a syrup because the coconut milk can be a little bit weak. But yeah,
Mm.
it's basically just almond joy.
That's really cool.
Mm.
Yeah. I know that you can get like when people make like pina coladas or whatever, you can get like that coconut like there's like a concentrate that you could probably get at like most stores. It's like non-alcoholic, so I think you can get it like I can get it anywhere. But yeah, that might be something you could worth trying. It's
Huh.
like really thick.
Interesting. Huh. Yeah, that may work.
But that
Yeah.
sounds delicious.
Yeah, I want to try that now.
Yeah,
When I
that's
when
good.
when I come visit you, I'll just I'll just hire you as my
Yes.
personalized Starbucks.
Yeah, there's no Starbucks near me either, so yeah, had to be creative.
Mhm. I did a quick Google search and it's called just coconut cream.
Huh.
So maybe you can find that.
Yeah. You know what? Coconut creamer would work as well.
Mm,
I I know I got that a couple times at the store.
nice. Yeah,
Mhm.
no, I think that would definitely help. It also feels like every time I go to the grocery store, there's like 8 new creamer flavors, and I'm always like, what? Where is this all coming from? So I love that it's become like a thing. It's so easy to like get.
Yeah, there are quite a number of random, creamers out there. Like, I think I've seen, like, a couple, like, cheesecake flavored creamers.
Oh, whoa,
Yeah.
that's
I have,
cool.
I'll have to try that. If if
Yeah.
cheesecake flavored snowballs are good, then it's got to be great with coffee.
Mhm.
That's funny. Yeah, there's Dunkin' Donuts near me. Is they're doing like this new brownie batter flavor like creamer, like it's like a limited time thing. So I was like, oh, that's random, but it sounds interesting. I don't know if I could drink a whole coffee that tasted like that, but that's cool in concept.
Yeah,
That
that's
sounds
the
good.
Mm,
yeah, the thing with the anything that has a more like chocolate base, I
hmm.
like it, but I'm also like, oh, this is a lot.
Yeah.
Yeah. The brownie batter tastes so good, though. Like, I remember
Mm,
Starbucks used to had, like, a brownie blizzard, and
mm,
it was so good. It's, like, one of my favorites.
Yeah.
And also, like, cookie dough.
mm.
Are you talking about at Dairy Queen?
Uh, yeah, know I was talking about Starbucks, but then I realized I said Blizzard.
Oh, okay. I was like, I don't know anymore. They had cookie dough flavored coffee?
No, like, cookie dough, the Blizzards,
Mm.
or whatever they're called.
Oh, the fraps.
I don't know anymore, been a while since I've been to one.
No, you're totally fine.
Liz is just over here making her dream coffee shop. She's like,
Right?
I remember it, guys.
I swear. That's funny. I also know that Starbucks does do like regional like launches, so maybe it was just in the area because yeah, you were in. Because I mean, I don't go to Starbucks a whole lot, but it sounds really good. But I don't have a distinct memory.
Well, uh, I think we're fully caffeinated now.
Oh yeah.
Yes.
So, I think it's time to move on to our next segment. What have you been binging?
Ooh.
Mm.
So, Adam, you have any I mean, so far we pretty much just stuck to anime. I do have
Hmm.
something non-anime that I want to shout out later, so really whatever you want to talk about that you've been watching.
Well, I'll keep it short and sweet and simple. I just finished watching the new Fallout series, which is very good if you're a fan of the games. I actually haven't played the games too much, so my knowledge of the universe was pretty limited. But yeah, it definitely isn't a hindrance to the show. So if you're into like the sci-fi, if you're into the games, definitely give that a watch. It's very very good. And in terms of anime, I'm getting really excited for the spring 2024 releases. On Crunchyroll, there's a couple of simulcasts that I'm pretty interested in and started watching. I haven't gotten around to seeing the new Black Butler yet. I saw that's getting a re-release, or I think it's like a new season. So I'm probably gonna give that a watch. I haven't seen that yet, but I watched the first couple episodes that have been released, at least over here, for what was it? I'm trying to look it up. Unnamed Memory. It's pretty good so far. So there's only 2 episodes that have been out, so I've liked it so far.
Okay.
Cool.
I never heard of that one.
Yeah, I hadn't heard of it either. It's just called it just came up, and it's about like this the main character's name is Oscar. He's like a prince, and there's like a curse on his lineage, and he's like going on a quest to try to find someone that can help him overcome his lineage, that curse on his lineage. But the only way that they can break it is if he gets married to her. And so it's like their kind of like adventure trying to it's like this weird kind. It's not weird. It's like a slice of life aspects, but there's like some cool fantasy and some action sequences. So it's pretty cool so far.
Huh. It looks good. Looking at it.
Yeah,
I'll add
no,
that.
it's
I'll add that to my list.
for sure. Do it.
Hmm.
That's on Crunchyroll, I'm guessing.
Yeah, Crunchyroll.
Okay. Nice.
Yeah.
Well,
I haven't watched a lot of
Yeah.
shows.
sorry, go ahead.
Yeah. Me and Maddie are doing this challenge
Mm,
where where we're stuck in 2004. So I've been
mm.
deprived of my anime.
Oh no.
If you want to hear us vent more about this, listen to the newest episode of the Gamer Girl podcast Liz guested on that comes out in a couple days after recording today.
I definitely will. I gotta get the backstory.
Yeah. But to keep it short, I have not seen any anime for the past 2 weeks. So I'm behind on all of the new spring releases. I don't even know what's out right now. I have made an exception for Delicious in Dungeons.
Yes, so good.
Yes.
See, I'm
I've been
behind. This isn't fair.
I thought we made an exception for Delicious in Dungeons.
Yeah, we did, and then I just haven't watched it yet. But
Oh, there's.
it's
Oh,
so
go
good.
ahead. Yeah, it's so great.
Yeah.
Oh, I feel so bad for you. There's such a great lineup this spring. I feel so bad.
I
Kaiju number 8 is
know.
coming out. There's a new season of Konosuba if you're into that. Oh man.
And Spice Wolf's
Spiceful.
remake.
Yeah.
There's this one I watched one episode that was really cute. It's like this guy instantly fell in love with this girl that doesn't know him yet. I forgot the
Mm.
name. It was so cute. And the grandparents one, I
Oh yeah,
really
the grandparents are
that
young
one.
again or something. Yeah.
Yeah.
Hey, to be fair, we made an exception for the weekends. So you can just binge your heart out this weekend. That's gonna be my life, the Splatfest, and anime.
Hmm.
I love that.
So
Yeah.
I don't know if this challenge is really actually promoting any kind of healthy lifestyle, like the hope was.
I'm not productive. Like
I
I
mean,
did this
yeah.
to be productive, but now I'm just drawing and reading books instead of doing work.
Mm.
So
Yeah, I Yeah, Liz, I don't know if you saw, I like messaged you a little bit before recording that I confessed that I had a relapse today. And I just
Oh
kind of
my.
I just gave up. I was like, well, might as well go all in today. So I'm just back on YouTube.
Yeah, that's me and just scrolling through different memes on Facebook.
Hey, Facebook was around in
That's true.
2004.
So technically, I haven't broke it yet because I
Nice.
was counting YouTube as something not to do. Hey, I didn't break the challenge yet.
That's great.
Yeah.
So can you watch like hard media? So like if you have like DVDs of past like anime seasons, can you watch that as long as it was made before 2004? Like what are the rules?
So
Um,
basically, anything past before 2004,
Mm-hmm.
you can indulge in and enjoy. You
Sure.
just and you could use whatever streaming service or whatever service,
Mm-hmm.
just as long as it's before 2004.
Okay.
and like not like I think we're just keeping it to like TVs for the most part. Like for instance, I'm not
Mm.
gonna be like out in public like watching something on my
Right.
phone.
Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah, yeah.
So
No,
it's
Mhm.
gotcha.
like replicating the idea because yes, I do have a DVD player and some DVDs, but then I realized like a lot of the stuff I would watch was made after 2004, like half
Mm.
the Harry Potter movies or the
Yeah.
Hunger
Yeah.
Games or like I don't know. So I don't even know
Yeah.
what I would watch on my DVD player.
Yeah, I've just been watching Disney. Like, that's just the safe route.
That's great. I think if you
Yeah.
could watch most of like The Prince of Tennis, that's pretty good.
Hmm.
I've thought
Okay.
about Inuyasha,
Yeah, yeah.
Oh, yeah.
but that's long and I don't
Yeah,
know.
I've
That is-
thought about watching the older animes, but equally the past times I've tried, it was too painful to watch, like, some of them. Like, I don't wanna get into Naruto. Sailor
Yeah.
Moon is
Oh,
a
Sailor
little bit
Moon's
too
so good
crazy for
though.
me sometimes.
Oh, Sailor Moon's so good.
It's like
That's
yeah.
mhm.
And the art style is a little bit difficult to watch, like, with the
Yeah,
big eyes and lack of anatomy.
yeah, yeah. You really gotta like turn your brain off. My brother's been getting into he's always liked Gundam and stuff, but he's been watching some of the older ones, and yeah, you can tell that the animation has grown leaps and bounds since then. But
Mhm.
yeah, it's stuff like stuff that came out around 2001, like like Gundam Wing or Gundam Seed and stuff like that.
Yeah, Gundam is long as well, like, I don't even know where to start on that.
Yeah, well, what's nice is that at least each like arc or each season of like whatever title it is, it's usually pretty self-contained. So if you watch, just like I think one of the more recent ones that's been really good is Iron Blooded Orphans. You don't have to watch any of the other, Gundams to be able to watch it. Um, so it's pretty self-contained.
Yeah. I just wanna watch the Gundam that relates to the Gundam statue in Yokohama.
Oh yeah, I think that's the Gundam R34.
Mm. And that I went there at one point, and it was so cool. Like, he he moved and they played the theme music.
That's so cool.
Yeah, it's just a shame that they shut it down.
Yeah, that's so sad.
Yeah. It's like, I would take people there to show it, but it shut down. It's like even, the director apologized and said, "I'm sorry that we couldn't make him actually move and do tricks. The laws of gravity and physics won't allow us to do that so far."
That's so funny.
Yeah. It's so sad and so cute with his note.
Yeah, they built that for the Olympics or something, right?
Mhm. Yeah, then they shut it down. And after COVID, when the border opened up, they extended it, and it was so popular that they extended it again. But the problem is, it's not... One is the heat, so it's very difficult to maintain it. Then two, Yokohama is mainly just barges, and there's no actual solid plant around Yokohama. So it's not the most safest building.
Right. Well, that makes sense.
Yeah.
I did a Google search because I didn't want to embarrass myself by calling it the wrong Gundam. It's the RX-78.
Okay.
I would have never lived that down. But that's really cool. And it's sad. I hope maybe someone in the future picks up the idea and does it again, because it really is. It's so cool.
It was such a Japanese,
Yeah.
like that's what you imagine when you go to Japan. It's like robots everywhere.
That's so great.
Yeah.
I know we got a little sidetracked, which is fine, but Liz, you were still telling us? Did you have anything else that you were watching?
Monsters and Dungeons and Disney.
Okay.
Yeah.
Hey, Disney, nothing wrong with that.
Great.
Movies or shows?
The movies.
Okay.
Like Mulan, Pocahontas. Hercules and Brother Bear.
I love Hercules.
Yeah, it's a good one. It's not the best Disney movie. I was having trouble sitting through it. But it's a good one.
Yeah, that one and Atlantis are probably two of my more favorite. And Mulan too. I think those three are my favorite.
Okay. I still haven't seen Atlantis or the other one.
Oh, Treasure Planet. They're good. They're good.
I need to just marathon all of these because I haven't watched any of the classic Disney movies in so long. That
you still haven't seen Emperor's New Groove yet.
Oh yeah,
what?
I've never seen it, and I want to.
What? That one's such an easy watch. You should definitely do it.
It is.
Yeah, I just never got around to it. Apparently, I don't know what happened, but I was like, yeah, I should probably fix that crime.
Yeah.
It's so funny. It's really great.
Yeah. Well, I'll talk about. Speaking of the 2004 challenge, well, we've been also reading a fair amount. I've been reading a fair amount. I will say not every. We made a rule books don't have to be from before 2004.
Well, we broke that on day one.
Well, yeah, because I was finishing the Inheritance games and was like, well, I'm going to finish the book, so I came up with this challenge. I can do whatever I want. Which for backstory, because I don't even know if we did backstory on the Gamer Girl podcast either. There really is no backstory. I was just okay. Here's how it started. I just have these weird thoughts in my head throughout the day. I never stop thinking and zoning out and stuff. And then I was like, imagine if I was just out in public playing Tetris or something. Imagine if I had just a Game Boy playing Tetris. I was like, that'd be so funny. And I was like, imagine if I just had if I was just in public with older technology, that would be so funny. And then I was like, wait a second, 2004 was 20 years ago. What if I just live my life? And then I was like, well, and then I could make a video and then I realized that making a video or vlogging my life was way more not something I really feel like doing, so I didn't. So it was just a random idea that we just did anyway, and then I told Liz about it. And yeah, my iPhone I can only use for calls and texts. We did that for a week. This week kind of been a little more lax because I don't know. But anyway, that's how that started for context. It was just random. But all that to say, I've been reading more. And the reason that I mention that is because I think this book I'm reading, listeners that are a fan of anime, and especially your name, would be a fan of this book. I haven't. This is actually the very first thing I've read by Brandon Sanderson, so that might be a weird place to start. I don't know, but I've been reading Yumi and the Nightmare Painter, and so it has like a lot of like Japanese culture in it, and also, you know, if you're familiar with the story of Your Name with the guy and girl swapping kind of thing, that's also a big part of it. Not to spoil it, but you know, also to spoil it. I mean, you find that happens very early into the book, so you know. But anyway, yeah, it's been an interesting story. I'm like a little over halfway through right now, so we'll see. But so far, I'm really enjoying it. Anyway, as far as stuff I've actually been watching, I also kind of told this story on the Gamer Girl podcast, so I won't 100% repeat myself. But I got my roommate. I made a deal with her, actually. She was like, if you finish, she was like, the book I was reading before, she was like, if you finish that by 2 days from now, then I'll watch whatever anime with you that you want.
Ooh.
And I haven't been able to get her to watch anime up to this point. I was like, well, Howl's Moving Castle came out in 2004. So
Perfect.
This is perfect. So, yeah, 4 hours of binge reading later, I was like, yeah, bet complete. You are watching Howl's Moving Castle with me. And so I got her to. Unfortunately, she was not the biggest fan, but she also had never seen anything Studio Ghibli in her life before that. And so I guess it is a bit of an adjustment if you haven't. It is a bit of a different pacing, I guess, than what you'd be used to, maybe. So we'll see.
Did you watch it subbed or dubbed?
Dubbed, because yeah, she's not gonna read subtitles.
Right.
Not anytime soon, at least. We gotta ease her into this.
No, I mean the English dub of it is very, very good. So
it is, yeah.
I'm so
yeah. It was funny.
That's so sad.
I know. It was funny though, because when we started, she was like, "I don't have to read, right?" I was like, "No, we're doing dubbed." She didn't even know what dubbed meant. She was like, "What does that mean?" And I was like, "Oh my. We have failed you as a society. How have you made it into life so far? I don't understand." I was like, "Sub is subtitle." Okay, I'll stop bashing on her. She's smart, I promise. Super awesome. Okay? Don't get the wrong idea, but it was very funny. Anyway. But guess what? I did get her into a different anime after that. Because I knew if Ghibli couldn't do it, a slice of life rom-com could.
Oh.
And so I recommended that she try watching Horimiya. And
Oh, good.
oh, she's been binging that. Like, yeah, we started it together, which was also an exception to the past 2 weeks have just been nothing but exceptions to the
No,
self-imposed
this
challenge.
is a good exception.
This is a great exception. And Liz was okay with it because we've just been wanting her to watch anime forever. So it's like, you know, she's
Right.
converted, yay. And yeah, so she watched season 1 super fast. Then she started, I thought we were watching this together for the most part, but no. Our schedules don't line up all the time, and she's like, I'm watching this, and so like I'll just find her watching it on her computer. I'm like, it's so funny. Like literally, like early this morning, or I go out early this morning, I come back, and she's like, she literally like woke up early this morning just so she could watch 3 episodes before leaving for the day. I was like, oh my gosh.
I love that. I love that.
I text a group chat with friends. I'm like, I'm afraid I've created a monster. Um, yeah. So she'll probably finish it tonight, honestly. I don't know. But it's great. And then yeah, so that I got her into anime. Hopefully we
That's so
can
great.
Yeah, I have like a list of like slice of lives for her to watch,
get
and
into.
then we'll keep moving from there.
I love that. You guys should watch, if you haven't seen it yet, the Angel Next Door Spoils Me Rotten. So
That
good.
was cute.
Oh, it's so good.
It was suspect
I haven't seen that.
at some points. It's like sometimes it was really cute, then it like started to trail down. Like, yeah, but it's super cute.
Yeah, it's really cute. I think it came out last year or something.
Last
Season.
winter season.
Yeah, that's a good one. It does have the Horiyama, or however you say it. It's similar sort of vibes.
Okay. Yeah. Yeah, it's so funny because there are certain parts that she was like, this is just so interesting. And I'm like, oh, you haven't seen nothing. Oh, just wait. Do you think this is weird?
Yeah.
She'll get there.
I love it.
She'll get there.
Yeah. So that's been fun. Besides that, last weekend I've only watched the first 3 episodes, but I started Love is War because people have been telling me to. As another fun rom-com kind of show. Very, very different, like in a funny way. Like I love this show so far.
It reminds me of like Grown Up, Anya and Damien in Spy Family.
Yeah.
Like the 2 main characters. I don't know why.
No, it's yeah.
Yeah, that's a good comparison. Yeah.
That's so funny.
I need to rewatch that.
Yeah, so because I was talking to Mud, and if you know her from streaming and in the Discord and whatever, but she was like, I want to watch the 3rd episode with you to see your reaction. And so I was literally like crying, like, because we were laughing together, and then I was just like crying from laughter. So if that like tells you anything about how funny this show is, I was so caught off guard by some things in that episode. It was really funny. Yeah. And then my roommate was like offended when she found out I started it without her. Like, whoa, okay, I just introduced you to anime like 2 days ago. Like, calm down. Okay, I'll watch anything with you. Okay. So I haven't continued it since.
No, no, that's
So
a good one. That's a good one to get
Mhm.
new people into it too. It's so good.
yeah,
Mm.
yeah. Um, okay. There's one more thing I sort of wanted to talk about a little bit
Yes.
Mhm.
was non-anime, but a show that we are all fans of, and that listeners, you better love Bluey, or else I'm coming after you.
Really? Yes.
Yay.
So we had that little season 3 finale 30-minute episode
Mm.
that came out a few days ago. And I just wanted to talk about it because I thought it was absolutely amazing.
It was though. Like there are so many good points of it, and I have new theories as well.
Mm.
Yeah.
Like
Um
you go.
yeah, I'm curious. No, go ahead.
Okay. So like there's Trixie and I forgot the uncle's name. But they're like fighting throughout the episode. And I saw a couple of theories about maybe there's hinting at a divorce later in season 4, maybe, because they're fighting so much. Which I found that really interesting. And they haven't really covered that yet. It would be a
Wait,
shame if
hold on. Aren't they the ones that just got married? Wait. Oh,
no,
no. I'm dumb. Wait. They're the
the
now I'm
gray and
confused.
the gray Australian terrier, or not terrier,
Oh, okay. I was like,
aunt and
what?
uncle.
Okay.
Yeah. Red and Frisky just got married.
Yeah.
Okay. I was like, what? Okay, that makes more sense.
hmm Like they're arguing a lot, which, and I don't know. And also, the uncle didn't leave with the aunt. Like he's found waking up on the neighbor's poor lawn. I don't know. That would be interesting. It would be interesting if they covered divorce.
Yeah,
Yeah.
right?
hmm
I mean, they covered a lot of other stuff, so
Yeah.
yeah, I could see it. I guess. Not that I want that to happen.
Yeah, I don't want it
Um,
either, but it would be interesting.
yeah. Yeah. No, I just thought, this is the first time we've ever seen like a longer form Bluey episode. And I thought it flowed
Very well.
fantastically.
Yeah.
Mm.
I loved that it like because of it being the wedding episode that we got to see like all the extended family characters and stuff. That
Mhm.
was fun. Um Brandy's having a baby. That's crazy.
Yes.
Yeah. Um yeah, and then the music at the end
hmm
with the montage
Yeah.
and Bandit ripping out the sign.
That was good filmmaking. That scene.
Yeah.
I really liked that. I knew that they were never going to move. It's like in the previous episode we see Bingo and Lila in the future. So I knew they were never going to move to a new city. I was just wondering
Oh.
how they do it. And that
Yeah,
was a
I
very
love that.
yeah.
Yeah, I wasn't thinking they were either from the perspective of like that would like in cartoons you never see the characters move because they have all these established like backgrounds in the area,
Mhm.
just everything in general. Like the show's been going on for 3 seasons. Like I'm like I can't imagine they're just gonna like change. Like especially if they move to a different city, like that would mean literally all the environments would be different. Like it'd have to be like different characters for the most part. And so like from a logical perspective, I was like, they're not doing it. But
Mhm.
I want to see how this plays out. And so I think the way that they did was also really good, because I know, like, that's also, like, I think this episode, like, especially, like, because this show's for kids, and so I think this episode will resonate with kids, like, whether they even if they did move, or if they are in the process of moving, or might be, because, like, it, like, touches on, like, the, like, anxiety and emotions, like, of the family, like, going through that, because especially as a kid, like, I know from experience, like, that is an extremely hard thing to go through, as a child or an adult.
Mhm. I wish I had this episode, like, whole many years ago, and even, like, just a few years ago. Like, it captured a lot of the emotions very well. And I loved how Bingo reacted after she realized that Lila wasn't going to come with them. Like, I had that exact moment when I was Bingo's age.
Oh. Oh.
That was so sad.
Oh.
Yeah. Yeah, I just thought it was really well done. I love the idea of, because a lot of times, you know, when you know, a family has to move because, you know, like, new job potential and stuff like that usually is why. And it's like, you know, are we making the right decision by doing this? Are we not? And I loved how the episode tackled that, like, maybe not, you know, we'll see, like, because at the end of the day, like, you never really know if you're making the right decision until you do it, which in this case, their decision was to not move. So, and there's missed potential from that too, you know, like, because, you know, you think of it as like yay, like, you know, they don't have to move, you know, but, like, you know, it's kind of bittersweet either way, depending on the situation. Like, obviously for the show, it, you know, I'm glad that they didn't change everything, because I'm attached anyway, but like, don't do it. But, you know, so I like the way that they, like, the kind of the message they had behind that too.
Yeah.
So yeah, I just wanted to talk about that, because I love Bluey. I loved that episode.
Good episode.
Yeah. Well, you know, speaking of I don't know, maybe really good shows, and I don't know, maybe you cried, I don't know. We are now ready to talk about the anime of the episode, Frieren.
Yeah.
Yeah. So, this episode, we're don't be scared. We're not changing anything really, but we're trying this thing where I say it like it's something crazy. Basically, what we're gonna do is sort of divide the discussion into talking about different aspects, like story, animation, soundtrack. It's just kind of separate points, but we'll still let it flow, and obviously we can go back and forth and whatever comes to mind. I think this will be a much... We made the decision to do this because, you know, especially talking about a show like Frieren that has 28 episodes so far, you know, talking about episode by episode would be a little bit insane, and we would be here all night. So kind of just, you know, we don't have to talk about stuff in order. You know, we can just do whatever, honestly, but yeah.
Right.
So
yeah. And if you're worried about spoilers, why are you worried about spoilers? You should have watched this already.
Yes. We told you last month, so that's on you.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah. And we posted a teaser like 2 weeks ago. So you knew. You knew. I believe that you... I don't know. But
no excuses.
Yeah, no excuses. Although, or you could just listen to the first hour before the Frieren part
Yeah.
and then go watch it and then come back. I don't know. Whatever you want to do. They're gonna look at oh my gosh, when this episode's over, people are gonna look at the runtime and be like, oh my gosh, they talked about this show for as long as the show ran itself. But in reality, we're talking about Bluey.
Yeah, right. Do it in 2 parts.
Yeah. So, do we want to start with just the story and like world building, the characters, all of that?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, absolutely.
Where to start? Yeah,
Where to start?
Yeah, for real.
There's so much to talk about. Like, the plot in itself is very interesting. Because, like, it's I'm trying to think of the word, but it has the flashbacks. So it's like they're telling 2 whole separate stories at the exact same time.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
And that to me is very cool.
Yeah,
'Cause they completely skipped the backstory in the beginning. So it's like, at first, you don't know what's going on. You don't know if this was connected to a different series or, like, you don't know what's going on. Then you get the flashbacks and you start to understand, like, the whole as you watch it. I love how it's sort of like Frieren is just looking back at her memories. And that is cute and incredibly sad.
Yeah. So this is the first really like I don't know, show I've ever seen I can think of that I've seen that starts with the end of a story the way that Frieren does. It's very interesting. And then so you're left with the end of her past journey. And so, but what I love about the way they do that with the flashbacks is that you're learning about Frieren and her past and stuff along with like Fern in that way. And then the other characters that join later because it just makes everything unfold in this really like interesting way. And yeah, Himmel's so great.
Yeah, I love Himmel.
Yeah.
I remember I forgot where I saw it, but I saw a post somewhere where they were saying Himmel has become such a big thing in Japan. It's like
That's
parents
great.
are asking their children, "This is what Himmel would do. What would Himmel do? Or what would Hero Himmel do?" And he's, like,
That's so
such
cute.
a big role model now, and I
That's so cute.
absolutely love that.
It's so sweet.
It is.
Yeah, I've seen a couple reviews of people being not disappointed, but like having him as a character pass away so quickly in the early, they're like, or initially really thrown off by it. But as they watch more, they kind of realized how important it is that he does and why he's just such a catalyst for Frieren to like, for Frieren to go like, it's her calling, right? As to complete her hero's journey, right? Is like because she lost this relationship that she didn't fully comprehend or understand at the time. Like that's her motivation going forward. And like every time they find like another Himmel statue or they find like a village that he was so instrumental in helping, you can't help but get a little emotional because you're just like, oh, like this is it's just so good.
It is. And
It's really go ahead.
their whole relationship is just so cute, but so heartbreaking. It's
Yeah.
like Himmel, he was so respectful, but he still tried. Like, he tried to get Frieren to like him, but he
Mm,
respects the fact that she didn't realize what was going on. It's
yeah,
like, he basically proposed to her in one episode,
Yeah.
and
yeah,
he knew! It's
yeah.
like, she
Uh,
never realized that?
and I think
Like,
she's still, yeah, she's still like dealing with it. The episode where Fern gets sick
mhm.
and Freeren's like holding her hand, and then they do the flashback of him holding her hand. I was like, I can't take this anymore. Why are you showing me this? It hurts too much.
Yes!
Yeah.
It's like,
Oh,
if they met now, they would be in a relationship. It's like,
Yeah,
Fern actually
it
understands now, but
yeah,
mm,
and I think that was really the crux of Free Ren's character development is because she looked at life from the perspective of like, I mean, she's lived for like 1,000 years, and so
mhm,
she just sees people come and go. She sees, you know, towns come about and go away and all of that. And so because of, I mean, probably as like a defense mechanism, really, like she didn't really get very close to anyone
mhm, yeah,
because they were gonna be gone eventually.
right,
And but then, the whole idea of her growing in the show is like she's realizing like the value of the relationships that we had that she had
mhm,
of her
mm,
relationship with Himmel. Like everything is pretty much through the lens of what happened with Himmel.
yeah,
So much so that every time they enter a new location, it's
mm,
like 28 years before the death of Himmel.
yeah,
yeah,
And obviously, like you said, he has statues
mhm.
everywhere. Um,
And I love how she does the flower spell every time she sees the statue,
hmm,
yeah,
and how that's her favorite spell because it was his favorite spell, and how it was the, teacher's favorite spell.
yeah.
That
Flannel.
was
Yeah. Oh, it's so good. Yeah, because like even in that flashback when they met for the first time when Himmel was a kid, like
yeah,
that was his like I think he says like that was the first time that he ever thought of magic as beautiful.
mhm,
And I think that that's definitely whether Freeran knows it or not, I think that's a very big motivating factor for her because I think she's constantly looking for like when she's asked by oh no, what's her name? The other elf lady. Uh
mhm,
the, the one that trained her
yeah, I know who you're talking about. I forget.
um
yeah, yeah, the
uh
teacher of the
mm,
instruction of her teacher,
yeah,
right?
yeah. Yeah, what is her name? Well, it's so bad. But they she the how they could ask for like like any spell or she could tell them any spell that they wish. I feel like Freeman would just ask for something else that was beautiful because to her like magic isn't a means for like power or a means
Mhm,
for um like making herself great. And instead, I think she's really taken Himmel's like perspective on life to heart, and it's just like, how can I find magic to make life more beautiful? And when Fern like picks the spell that makes fresh clothes or whatever, that's why she's like so proud of her because she picked a spell that I think makes life more beautiful instead of like
mhm,
more destructive or whatever.
yeah.
Yeah,
Yeah, that whole relationship is so cute, and I love how Frieren is just growing from that. And that is probably one of the best character developments I've seen, actually.
Mm.
Like, there hasn't really been any better character development that I can think of. Yeah.
Yeah, because at first she's just so like I don't know how else to describe it, but just like aloof. Like
Mhm.
she's just kind of, like she's got a whole lot of knowledge about magic and she's just kind of doing her thing
Yeah.
before Fern comes along and I mean that was really the catalyst of like her kind of changing her life from just doing whatever to, now she has to like train Fern and
Mhm.
basically like be her mom and so
Hmm.
um and then it
Fern
and then it just goes from there.
yeah. Fern and Frieren's, relationship is cute. Like, it's big sister and mother all in one.
Yeah.
I love how Fern is also taking care of Frieren.
Yeah.
It's just like, "You're still a child."
I I love when Fern has to just like drag Free out of bed.
Yes.
That's like, I was thinking, if I've been around for like 1,000 years, I would probably just sleep in every day too. Like,
Yeah.
why not?
Mhm.
But they had things they had to do, and it
Yeah.
was yeah, that was funny.
Mhm.
Um,
I am
yeah.
disappointed, though, with Fern's character development. It's
Hmm.
I don't know, it feels like she didn't have much growth in my opinion,
Hmm.
and she was just, like she stayed the same from the beginning to the end.
I think she kind of grew a little bit with Stark.
Yes, a little bit
Yeah.
with Stark, but
Stark's
not
okay.
drastically. And also, like, her, character design with the cloak, that
Hmm.
to me seems very I was disappointed with it. It's like she wore that when she was a child, she wore that but yet she's still wearing it. I feel like that and it just sort of that doesn't like, it reflects that she doesn't have any character growth. It's like, I feel like if she had a different outfit and I don't know how to explain my thinking about it.
Yeah, I think it's hard, and I don't, having not read the manga and waiting maybe into the second season, maybe we'll see more of it. But
Mhm.
I think part of it is that she's also reflective of how like little Frieren has changed too. Like Frieren
Right.
has had like the same hair for eternity, right? Like
Uh-huh.
her clothes has slowly changed, but like the only time that we see her clothes being different is when she was like back with Flamel. And so like I think that's part of it is that like I think it shows how slow things change, especially to Frieren. But
Right.
like or in the timelessness, but I do think that she's um her changes haven't been dynamic, but I think the changes that she has gone through, I think she's become more confident in
Mhm.
herself,
Right.
especially in that battle with the Free Ren clone or
Yeah.
whatever.
Uh-huh.
Um, so it definitely does feel like she's like right on the edge of like really coming into her own characterization, and like because
Right.
it really for most of her life like she's just been identified by the people that were in charge of her or helping or like her parents. And I think as she's kind of met Stark, especially when they like when he buys her they buy each other birthday presents,
Yes.
I think she's starting to finally realize that she can be who she wants to be, and she doesn't
Yeah.
have to, like, she's not beholden to what other people want for her
Mhm.
necessarily.
Yeah. Burns and Stark's relationship, though, is so cute. It's like one of those
Yeah.
relationships, like, you just wanna strangle the characters and say, "Get over yourselves and be together."
Yeah.
Oh,
They're
that's
so
yeah,
great because they're kind of like childish for different reasons.
Uh-huh.
yeah,
And and then yeah, and it's funny because they just like they'll just have like silly disputes, and they are just only understanding from like their line of thinking or
Yeah.
their perspective.
Mhm.
They're
It's
like an
so
old
funny.
married couple. Like they just bicker all the time. And
Yeah.
So well, that's so true.
I
Yeah,
love how someone was like in between that tried tried to smooth things over and be matchmaker,
Mhm.
and how Sign was like Stark's mentor and all
Yeah.
of that. Sign was such a good character.
Yeah. No, for sure. I mean, I love that bit after, like, right before he leaves, or when he mediates their one of their fights, and he just kind of like screams. He's like, "Just get together already!" You're like, "I 100%."
Yes.
Yes, I remember that scene. I was laughing so hard.
That's so
Like,
good. It's so
yeah.
good. Yeah. And I think one of the biggest thing that really stood out to me, story wise, at least for this anime and manga, is they there is like a bigger story going on, right? Like with the
Mhm.
Demon King and the remnants, and like all that is like it's happening and it's really important, and
Uh-huh.
there's exposition about it. But the the bread and butter of this anime is just the relationships that are being built, and not even just like with Frieren. I feel like the relationship that Frieren is building is almost with the other characters is almost secondary to the other relationships that those side characters are building with each other. You know what I
Yeah.
mean? Like the and like even towards the end with all the different like the new mages and stuff that were
Mhm.
a part of like that were there. It just the yeah, I just love how determined this anime is to not lose focus and lose sight of the importance of like these relationships that are being built in that slice of life aspect, and but then also being like, oh yeah, like here's a really cool action sequence that looks incredible, but that's not the main, like this isn't, the most important thing.
Yeah, it's kind of like the opposite of what you normally see in like these kind of fantasy stories, is it's like,
Mm,
oh, there's the big bad person, or I don't know, and we gotta go take him down, and and we're gonna learn all these magic spells and save the
Right.
day, and then along the way, we'll become better friends
Mhm.
and figure it out. But with this show, it's more like yeah, that stuff's kind of just like touched on a little bit, but honestly, when you first start the show too, it's kind of just like, we're just going going to this town now, and
mm,
Yeah.
stuff. And
yeah.
so it's like every episode is kind of its own little side story
Hmm.
that
Yeah.
you would almost expect to find as like a filler episode
Right.
in
Right.
a normal show. So, but every episode, it doesn't feel like filler by any means, because you're having that character development, you're having something uh different and interesting happen
Yeah.
in each episode, that's making you learn more about the characters and what's going
Mhm.
on. And what it reminded me of actually a lot when I was watching it was Violet Evergarden,
Oh yeah.
Oh,
actually,
yes.
because in Violet Evergarden, it's kind of a similar thing where, um, I mean, you have like this underlying s- stuff going on with like the general and whatever, but
Mhm.
each episode, Violet Evergarden goes and like meets a different character, does this different thing,
Mm.
which is making you learn more about Violet, and then also she's learning more about the other characters and
Right.
also growing as a character. So I kind of saw quite a few parallels between
Mhm.
Violet and Frieren, just not
Yeah.
exactly, but it made me think of that.
Yeah.
Very similar, actually, now that you mention it. Like,
Yeah.
Hmm.
they have very similar character personalities.
Yeah. No,
Mm.
absolutely. Yeah, it's weird because it's like it's a something made by humans, but it's a story about what does it mean to be human. And yeah, and for in both cases, because like Violet and her backstory, and why she's kind of like outside the normal human experience, and then Frieren also with her being so long lived and being a different race. Yeah, she's learning what does it mean to
Mhm.
be a human being. And um I think that's what makes it so beautiful. And I think it's great that you made that connection, because I think the guy that did the music for both Evan Call did the music for Violet Evergarden and Free Ren.
Oh, that's cool. I didn't know that.
Yeah.
Yeah, I
And
mean,
that actually makes a lot of
mhm.
sense
Yeah,
Uh-huh.
because
right.
the sort of like both in Violet Evergarden and this show, you kind of have like I, I don't know how to describe it, but a theme will play like during this
Yeah,
kind of
Mhm.
each kind of thing, so you just like associate it. I mean, that's kind of with
Yeah.
shows in general, but more
yeah,
specifically, these different themes you associate with like I don't know, Frieren discovering this or like
Uh-huh.
them going
yeah,
into this town or whatever.
yeah,
Um, yeah, that's interesting.
Yeah. Um,
yeah.
Another interesting thing is the character names, because they
Mm,
have a lot of symbolism and foreshadow. So I took German, so I can speak quite a bit of it. And I
nice.
knew instantly, like, all of the foreshadow. Like, Frieren means breeze, which sort of replicates how she's sort of frozen in time, and also how she's very cold with her personality.
Mm,
Then Fern is far or distant, which also reflects her distant personality. And Himmel's line is heartbreaking because Himmel means heaven. It's
Oh,
like that was sad. 'Cause it's like already told us that he was going to die.
mm,
And Stark was strong. But the biggest one that I liked was that demon that demon that was like taking over that one city.
mm, mm-hmm.
His name is, trying to pronounce it, Lugener, which means
Mm-hmm.
liar.
That's cool.
Yeah.
oh,
That that was like a big foreshadow. Because it basically told us that he was like a bad guy.
Yeah, that's really cool.
Yeah.
That's really cool.
Mm.
yeah, I love
And
that.
Mm,
of course there's other ones, but those are like the big ones.
yeah, yeah. So being a massive, in addition to being an anime fan, but just a massive fan of Lord of the Rings, just in general. Um, just the parallels I think between the show and then like Lord of the Rings, just in general, but even like down to the names and stuff, because names have so much meaning and power, like
Mhm.
especially in like Tolkien's universe. But yeah, it's just like the everything, and just like in Tolkien, like everything has a meaning and everything is purposeful. Like nothing is just a mistake, and it's that love and care I think from the creators of both things, of just the intentionality. Like they could have just picked any name that sounded cool,
Right.
but it's like they intentionally picked names that have like meaning. And
Mhm.
um one of my favorite parallels, I mean, of course we know like in the the Lord of the Rings, the trilogy, like we know about like Arwen and Aragorn, like the human, human king, and then like Arwen,
Mhm.
the eternal elf princess. But she's kind of it's kind of like opposite of this of Frieren, right, where she like gives up her immortality to like live with like a human.
Mhm.
um but what's even cooler is that like that is um it's like a second coming of a previous story called between Baron and Luthien, which happens like even earlier in like in the time period in J.R.R. Tolkien's thing. where it's again like this male human and this female princess, and they like again, it's like this idea of how do we navigate this loving relationship, and like the big thing between the two is that like Aragorn, in order to marry Arwen, he has to just destroy the One Ring and then become king of Gondor. And then in Beren and Luthien, he has to go on this big quest to get something called the Sumeril, in order to marry this elf princess. So it definitely feels like then in Frieren that she's on this like big huge quest to be able to be reunited with her lover too. And yeah, I'm here for it. It just
Yes.
everything, because like with the attention to the names and like everything's so important, it just feels like a mythology is being made, and
Yes.
it's really cool to see.
Mhm. Yeah, and I honestly really hope that towards the end of the anime, we get to see Frieren and Himmel again together,
Yeah.
and also like, the teacher. Like, it would
Yeah.
be such a shame if they don't do that.
Right.
And
Right.
I almost sort of want, Frieren to die, just so then she can be
Yeah.
reconnected with everyone.
Yeah. Right. I Yeah, it's almost like a bittersweet sort of thing, right? Where you're like,
Yeah.
well, and I wonder if that'll be what it takes, right? Is for her to realize that, and then to let go of her immortality, whatever that looks
Mhm.
like.
Yeah.
But it's almost a better story if they don't. You know what I mean?
That's what I'm thinking too, because they could, because the other thing is too, like they could bring Himmel back from the dead somehow magically, but I think that would totally shatter the point of what they've
Yeah.
been
Yeah.
building at this whole time. If like it kind of just be like, oh, that was it. Like if he could just come back from the dead.
Right.
Um,
Mhm.
and then yeah, I mean if she died, but like then that would also kind of break the whole idea of, you know, her having lived for so long. Like,
True.
I mean, I don't. Can she die? Like physically, can she die so far?
Probably. Maybe. I don't know.
I would
Because
assume
like,
so.
Yeah. I mean, I think they've implied it. Especially during that like fight with Fern and her with the replicant or whatever.
Yeah.
Um, but yeah, I don't. It's gotta take a lot. I gotta believe.
I guess
Mhm.
there would be no like danger associated with the demon if she could just show up and be invincible. So
Yeah.
Right.
that's kind of a good point. Um, yeah, I don't know. I'm very curious to see what they're,
Mhm.
because I haven't read the manga, so I'm very
Right.
curious how they're gonna keep developing from here. And I'm also hoping that Sign comes back.
Yeah.
Yes,
'Cause
Sign's my favorite character. Like like, he was such a good mix compared to all the other childish characters. He was, like,
Right.
the one adult. He was, like, the mediator and the he was babysitting.
Right. But like also he's like still somehow still younger, right?
Yeah.
Physically.
Mhm.
Than Frieren. Yeah, I love it. I do hope they find a way to bring him back.
Mhm.
But yeah, because I feel like the biggest thing that I think the story is like talking about is like learning how to let go and how to move
Mhm.
forward, but like
Right.
not forgetting the past. And
Yeah.
I think if they find a way to bring back, Himmel, that kind of like does away with it, but does away with a lot of the character development. If they just like magically bring him back, I think that would be really cheap.
Mhm.
Um, but I think in a way, like if they have like if they have Frieren somehow sacrifice herself for Fern, I feel like that would feel good, right? They say that would be a
Right.
good payoff, right? Like she's passing on the torch, right? And then she's able to be
Mhm.
reunited with Himmel.
Yeah. That would be cute. Yeah.
Yeah, it kind of be, I don't know why it's making me think of this. This is kind of a cheesy example, but I don't know if you guys have seen A Dog's Purpose.
Mm-mm.
Oh, yes.
Well, there's a book after that movie that came out 4 or 5 years ago, and I read it because I was curious. Unfortunately, it never got made into a movie. I think it would have been a great movie, so it should have been. But it like continues the story from
Mhm.
Mm.
where A Dog's Purpose left off, and so the um I don't know, Bailey, that has a lot of different names from all of the dogs' lives. Um,
Right.
it it kind of reminds me of that in the sense of like all the past lives, like kind of like with Frieren. But the thing is at the end of A Dog's Promise is when Bailey gets to go to like heaven basically and reunites with
Wow.
like the original, I forget what his name is, but with like the characters from the first
Yeah.
story. And that
Right.
was really well done.
Mhm.
Um and so yeah, they could, yeah, Frieren could go to some, heaven kind of
Mm.
thing. They could do that.
For sure.
Yeah,
Especially
I
because
would like
Himmel's name means heaven.
Yeah.
Yes!
Well, it's so good.
Mhm.
Um, so should we talk about the animation?
Yeah.
Sure.
It it's a very cute animation. It's not like any of the
Hmm.
newer stuff, but the whole I don't know what it's called. It's like 3D cell block. Like, this
Yeah.
is very reminiscent of Ghibli,
Yeah, for
which is
sure.
which I really like. It's refreshing.
Hmm.
Like, it's not over the top with shadows and, lighting. Just very basic and very clean,
Yeah. Yeah,
which
I
sort
think
of
it's
allows the
mm,
plot to go through, I feel
yeah.
like. 'Cause
Yeah,
you either
totally
remember
totally agree.
yeah, you either remember the plot or you either remember the animation.
Yeah,
And you remember the plot with this one.
true to that. Yeah, I think it's really great. I love the art style. I think it's also great that you also mentioned earlier Delicious in Dungeon because I feel like they have pretty
Yes.
similar vibes too.
Yeah.
Um, and I also think that Spy Family 2 also has this
Mhm.
sort of vibe where it's not necessarily about the artistic detail, but more
Right.
so about capturing like an energy or a vibe.
Mhm.
And it's just like Free Ren, even like with its music choices and its artistic choice, it just feels cozy.
Yeah, it does.
And I think even with like the palette color choices too,
Mhm.
like Himmel's supposed to be like this cool, awesome hero guy, but his color palette is still like these very nice muted like blues, and it's like very comforting. It's very nice. And even like characters that have like mostly red palettes, it's still not overwhelmingly red, and it's just
Right.
like everything just feels comfy.
Yeah, it's just like it's easy to watch. Like it
Mm,
just feels good and everything works. Um and that's not to say that there aren't some like impressive things going on with the animation in my opinion,
mm,
because
Mhm.
like especially during like some of the like fighting scenes and
The big
yeah.
fight
using the
scene
magic.
yeah. The big fight scene during when Fern and the replica were fighting,
Hmm.
that was breathtaking.
Yeah.
So good.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Yeah. So
it's so cool.
yeah, this honestly, like what you're saying with like this Delicious in Dungeon, Spy
Mhm.
Family, like I don't know, it might be like some of my favorite style of
Mhm.
anime. Like I really like it.
Yeah, I like it too. It's it's definitely different,
Yeah.
and yeah. I also love how they're able to incorporate so many different character designs.
Yeah.
within the art style. Because oftentimes you'll see character designs be very similar and
Mhm.
nothing that really stands out. But you have all these different character shapes and different character and designs. Like there's the people with the horns, there's it's very cool.
Mhm.
Yeah,
And
Studio Madhouse is definitely one of my favorites. I mean, just between like Frieren and like they did like the first season of One Punch Man, and then they did uh one of my favorite movies, Paprika. And then I also did like a couple seasons, I think like Death Note and yeah, just like a Hunter x Hunter,
Mhm,
Overlord too. But they always deliver.
mhm.
Uh, and but I think more so than that they always I think that they're so respectful, I think, of the source material too. They don't stray too far, and I think one of among the my favorite things with the animation that they do is when they'll just like cut to like Free Ren just doing a real goofy face.
Yes.
um and it's just like I can just see that as a panel like on an anime, like on a
Yeah.
like a manga page. Like it's just I
Mhm.
could just see it, and the way that they translate that into like an anime is wonderful.
Yeah. I'm looking at all of the, stuff that Studio Madhouse created. I did not realize how many they made.
Oh,
Like
it's
you
yeah, they
said, Hunter
a
x
bunch of stuff.
Hunter,
Yeah,
and there's Tales from Earthsea, which they, co-animated with Studio Ghibli apparently, and
yeah,
Howl's
yeah,
Moving Castle.
yeah,
What?
yeah. It's crazy.
No
They,
wonder I like this animation so much.
yeah, they're so good.
yeah.
They were definitely also pretty instrumental in doing of like making movies post like Akira that would like appeal to like Western audiences. So like
Right,
Paprika, it's partly what inspired the movie Inception,
right.
uh, which is like really popular. But yeah,
Oh,
they're great. They're definitely a cool studio.
yeah. I'm I'm surprised how many I usually don't pay attention to the studios that makes all
Mm,
of the anime,
yeah,
other than MAPPA, because
yeah,
that one like, you know when
yeah,
it's
yeah,
MAPPA.
yeah,
But yeah, they have so many good ones.
yeah, for sure.
Like, I didn't even know they made My Love Story Yamada-kun. Like, that one is such a cute slice of life romance. But, like, No
That's
Game, No Life.
yeah, right.
Yeah.
So good.
Gotta add that to the list.
Mhm.
Slice of life.
Yeah,
Yeah.
it's great.
Well, should we do you guys want to talk a little bit more about the soundtrack?
Yeah, sure.
Sure.
I find the soundtrack very, standout-ish.
Mm,
Like, for Evan Call, which is the composer, I found it to be very mild. Like, I know Evan Call from Violet Evergarden, and that has
yeah.
one of the most remarkable soundtracks ever.
Haunting.
And he also did My Happy Marriage.
Mm,
It's like, Frieren, the soundtrack's good. It's not like I can look back and remember any, like, big ones.
mm,
I, I think it's a little bit more, I don't know, like relaxed, I guess. Like
Mhm.
the thing but the thing about Violet Evergarden or My Happy Marriage is they have very like intense, like emotional
yeah.
moments that you have that like piano and strings moment to really just like hone in on that. Um And I guess Frieren doesn't have that overly. Like, there are emotional moments, but it's more so like, I don't know, like yeah, there's not like one like defining like everything change. I mean, I guess in some like fights there's like there is like some climaxes, but for the story as a whole, it's kind of more relaxed, I guess, which
Yeah.
is yeah.
I guess another way that you can think of it is that the plot and the story carries itself.
Yeah.
So it doesn't need the animation or the music to carry it like other shows and
Yeah.
movies.
Totally.
Like Violet Evergarden. Like, would it be as good if you took away the animation and the soundtrack? Probably not.
Right.
Like, I feel like it carried it. Same with Your Name. It's like the plots are good, but they're not remarkable. And they need something else to make it remarkable.
I guess so, like, and even Ghibli a little bit. Like, you remember some of those, like, Spirited Away.
Yeah. So I guess that just reflects how good the storytelling is. That you don't need... It doesn't need that backbone of the music to hold it.
Yeah, I totally agree. I do think that the music, much like the animation, like if it was too good, you know, it would almost take away from the story. It would distract you from like what's happening on screen. But I do think where it is exceptional is the like the sound engineering, the sound design, just like the effects or like the sound effects of like them just like experiencing like nature or walking or like the those kind of like Foley sound effects. I think really stand out, and I think it's um like for me, I find it sometimes distracting in video, like when I play a video game, um where if the music is like too like, you know, if you're playing Skyrim, right, and like the music turns on, you're fighting a dragon, you just know. um Whereas like games like Breath of the Wild or Tears of the Kingdom, where there is music, but it's not like so overt and in your face. I feel like it's that same sort of vibe, right? Where it enhances and it doesn't stand out.
Yeah. Yeah, I like that comparison.
There are a couple sound pieces that do stand out to me. That's the lyrical ones.
Yeah.
Like, remember, I think episode 15 when they're going over the war scene and the fighting scene? Bliss was playing. The song by Millet called Bliss was playing. That was breathtaking. I really liked that.
That's really good. And yeah, I mean, of course, like the the intro and the outro songs are just perfect.
The outro I never really liked until the last episode when they made it, tied it in, and I actually understood its significance.
Yeah.
Because the outro never made sense to me in previous episodes. It definitely did in the last episode.
Yeah, it's such a good payoff.
Yes.
And I liked though how the lyrics were tweaked a little bit between like I know it's all one season, but I guess like the first 12 and second 12 episodes. How it changed a little bit, and then yeah, I agree about the end was really good.
You go.
Oh yeah, for sure the lyrics. It actually kind of like lined up with the story, which I guess it was. I guess it was foreshadowing, and we just
Like I cried in the end because the lyrics just so intertwined with the story.
Right.
Like I didn't expect it to hit that hard, but it did.
It did. Yeah. I also just really like the intro. I don't pay a whole lot of attention to intros in animes, honestly, but especially the first season or
Yeah, the
part.
first part was really good. I didn't like
I
the second
really like
one as much, but the animation for the second one was good.
Yeah.
But
Yeah.
yeah, I like the first one a lot.
I still think Spy Family probably has my favorite intros and outros.
Yeah. For me,
'Cause-
it's
yeah.
Psalm 100.
Oh,
Yeah.
that's a good one.
Yes, like, I can do the dance. Like, I forced myself to learn the dance. 'Cause it's so good!
Gonna be the next anime TikToker.
Maybe.
I love that. Yeah, I don't know. I don't know what my I don't know if I could pick my favorite. I think the outro for Tokyo Ghoul is probably
Yeah,
Unravel is probably my favorite. I
Unravel's
mean,
good.
that's just such a classic.
Right.
Um, yeah, I don't know. Come back to me in a little bit. Maybe I can
Mhm,
pick one. But yeah, you're right. And but I think just the intros and the outros again show the attention to detail and how important I think the people creating it are paying attention to it, because it's just like even those bits are building on the overall story. And it could just very easily just be like a throwaway, like here's the intro 30 seconds, here's the outro 30 seconds, we're in, we're out. But they like took the time to make sure that those 30 seconds on both ends are important to the story, and that's really cool.
mhm. Yeah.
Yeah. Well, anything else you guys want to talk about?
Mm, not really.
Yeah,
Like,
I'm excited
a lot of
for
my things. You go.
yeah.
Sorry.
Oh, I was gonna say I'm excited for a second season.
Mhm,
And I um I don't know. And this is I guess a discussion that me and my friends have been having, is where do you guys think that this show kind of stands in the pantheon of like best anime of all time? Because I think all of my friends were just like super fell in love hard with this anime, as did I. But they're
mhm.
like, oh, this is like, a top 5, top 10 anime of like all time. And I was like, whoa, that's huge. Like, but I think that's how much it really affected them. How do you guys feel about that? Where does that land for you guys?
I don't rate my shows all that well because I
Yeah,
think
I
everything's
love that.
amazing, basically.
Yeah, yeah.
And so I guess, like, Violet Evergarden for anime series is
Mm.
number 1. I'm
For
I've
you,
watched
that's
so much.
awesome.
Yeah,
Yeah.
I have to look back at everything. Wow.
Yeah, I love that. I like for me, or I guess maybe Liz, like what do you think?
For the show, for Frieren, I would say it's a good solid, um, I would co right now, without thinking of my anime list, it would probably be my number 5,
Nice. Okay.
at least.
Yeah, that's safe.
Yeah.
Okay.
See, I don't really have a problem with ranking them, but I feel like I feel this way with like video games, with like movies, with whatever. Like I have a hard time when something first comes out, all of a
Mm.
sudden deciding like, "Oh, this is like the best of all time," cuz I'm
Yeah.
like, like I like generally like my favorite things, like I have to let the nostalgia sink in and like of like give me like 5 years and we can come back to this
Right.
conversation
Yeah.
when I'm like, oh,
Yeah.
back at the day I love that show. Kind of thing.
Mhm.
Um, yeah, I'm I don't know, like I want to see like how the rest of it goes.
Mhm.
Do
Yeah.
you is there gonna be like is season 2 gonna be like another 28 episodes?
I would assume
I,
so.
yeah.
'Cause that's awesome.
Mhm.
Yeah, I think it's cool that they did a like a double or whatever.
Yeah.
Yeah. Which also means we'll probably have to wait longer,
Right.
but then it's
Right.
like that's crazy because I mean you guys were like watching this weekly as it came out, right?
Right. Yeah.
Yeah.
Like I watched the whole thing within I
Couple
don't
days.
know, 2 weeks. Not a couple days. It took
I know you grinded towards the end.
I did, yeah, I did binge a lot of the end, but overall it was like a week or two, which
Mhm.
Yeah.
is I mean, that's very fast compared to you guys. Like that's like 6 months
Mhm.
Yeah.
of waiting every week, which I also like
Yeah.
part of me does kind of wish I had gotten to experience that because I do like having that like anticipation for each episode.
Mhm.
So
Mhm.
I am looking forward to that. Although 6 months is a long time, but that's
Yeah.
fun.
Yeah.
Um yeah, yeah, maybe after it finishes, like I top five, I mean I could see it. I'd have to really, that could be a whole episode in itself, just sitting
Mhm.
down and
Right.
debating out like I don't
Right.
honestly like ask me my favorite anime, like I don't know. I mean maybe it is Violet Evergarden as well. Like I don't know. I have to think about it.
That's such a great
Yeah.
choice. Yeah. Yeah.
But
Like yeah, for me, I agree with you guys. Like I think it's for me I got to see like the longevity and like I know right now it's like I think it's the highest rated anime on my anime list by a couple points
Mm.
over Full Metal Alchemist Brotherhood, which is my favorite anime of all time. Um and like like for me like you can see how Full Metal Alchemist Brotherhood has influenced like anime into the future. And like I have
Right.
no doubt that Frieren will do that eventually. Like people will try to emulate, part like aspects of Frieren, but like until I
Mhm.
see that, I don't know if I can put it like there yet. You know what I mean? I still think it's incredibly I think it's very, very, very good. It's probably one of the best in recent memory, but it definitely feels like we're in a real golden time for animation and anime because it's like we have that, but we also have had some really awesome things like Jujutsu Kaisen and Demon Slayer and Attack on Titan and
Yeah.
this like Free Run. It's just like it feels like there's been more great anime in the last like 5-10
Mhm.
years than has been in a while. So it's
Yeah,
cool.
totally. Yeah.
yeah. The other thing too with um ranking anime is there's so many different like
Mm,
styles and
Mhm.
genres
yeah.
that
Yeah.
like I could have like my like action adventure and then my top five and then my
Mhm.
top five slice of life and then
Yeah.
For sure.
my top five like I don't know, this is just like weird and different and I love it.
Yeah, yeah.
Yeah.
Totally agree.
When you get
Yeah.
to my point where you've watched so many anime series,
Mm,
it's just impossible to actually pick a favorite.
yeah.
It's like, I don't know what I've watched.
I've forgotten. Yeah. I feel that. I feel that.
It's like what
That's
have
so
I not watched?
yeah,
Exactly,
that is
like,
the
I
better.
forgot that I watched, Oshinoko. Like,
Mm,
that's one of my favorites, but I forgot that I even watched it.
I love that.
Yeah. And, like, Demon
Uh,
Slayer, I'm, like, blanking on everything.
yeah, Demon Slayer is so great. I mean, yeah,
Mhm.
there's so much. I mean, Spy Family, like it's so great.
Yeah.
There's
Yeah.
yeah, there's just a lot, and yeah, I totally agree. And my friends always we love just like ranking things, so we always this is a common topic of discussion for us. But like every time we talk about like greatest anime, I always try to throw in like Fruits Baskets or like JoJo's Bizarre Adventure and like just random stuff. But stuff that I feel is just so influential, like Sailor Moon and stuff. Like people I think automatically go to like One Piece or Full Metal Alchemist Brotherhood or
Mhm.
Evangelion or whatever. But it's
Yeah.
like there's other genres that are just as good.
Mhm.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Yeah.
totally.
For sure.
Mm.
Well, should we move on to our
Yeah.
next?
Mhm.
Let's do
Uh,
it.
well, our next topic is what are we watching next? So
Yes.
each
Yeah.
episode, Liz and I decide beforehand what we're watching. Which, fun fact, we're actually like scheduled months out in advance, so we
We
know
are.
all the stuff. You guys just get to be surprised.
Mhm.
Um,
Take that.
yeah. So for next month's episode, we will be discussing Suzume,
Yeah.
which is a movie. So a little breather after
Mhm.
Frieren was a little bit longer, because Frieren was
Yeah.
the first series that we've talked about. So far,
I
everything
watched.
else has just been movies. So
Yeah.
that was cool. But
Mhm.
yeah, we're back to Suzume, which is
Made by
made by
the same studio as Your Name and Weathering with You.
yeah.
Yeah.
Mhm.
So
So
I'm
that'll be a fun one to talk about. I really enjoyed it.
excited. I actually haven't watched it yet, so
Mhm.
I'm excited to watch it.
I
'Cause
remember I watched it legally off of YouTube
Oh no.
without any subtitles because I was impatient.
That's so
I
funny.
remember that. I think you sent it to me too, but then it
I
got taken
did!
down like almost
Yes.
immediately.
That's so great. I love
Yeah,
that.
then I think I found it again and paid somebody else watch it with me.
Mm,
It's so
that's so
good.
great.
I was impatient and I missed watching it in theaters. Which is a
Yeah.
shame.
Yeah, I think that just came out of rotation out by where I'm from. I think they just put in the new Spy Family movie. I gotta go see.
Oh, I still
Oh,
need to see
yeah.
that.
Yeah,
But
I'm very excited for that.
Mm-hmm.
it'll be good.
Yeah.
Oh man.
Yeah, so
check that
us
out. It's a good movie.
Very good.
yeah, and fun
It's on
fact
Netflix.
is it's on
on
Netflix now. Yeah. So
So y'all should all be able to watch it. And
Yeah.
it's your fault if you haven't.
Yeah,
It's also
exactly.
on Crunchyroll and everywhere else, so
Yeah, figure it out, guys.
yeah. You have a whole month.
For sure. And if you are itching for a show that's similar to Frieren, but you don't want to wait, however long it takes to get to the new one, there's a show called To Your Eternity that's kind of similar. Um, check it out. It's about like a being that is, he is long lived like Frieren, but it's just like his journey from his creation and like through the generations of meeting different people and his journey to the modern era. So it's pretty awesome. It's by the I think it's by the same person that did A Silent Voice.
Ooh.
Oh,
Yeah, it's very good. To Your Eternity.
cool.
Oh,
Yep.
Okay. Well,
alrighty.
with that, it's time to shout out content and socials. So,
Yeah.
first off, Adam, if you want to tell us where people can find you.
Hello, I'm Adam. I'm a co-host for another podcast called Film Logic. You can find me over on the Retro Logic Discord page. We actually just did an episode on Fallout, so if that's something that you're interested in, definitely check that out. But I'm around. I'm on Radio Chaos. I think on that I'm Nemo. I don't know. That's my gamer tag. So I'm Adam or Nemo. Either way. And yeah, I love to talk about movies, video games, anime, you name it. Yeah, definitely say hi and check us out on Film Logic.
Nice.
Awesome.
Yep.
So yeah, as far as for all the other stuff, I'll shout out. Radio Chaos is our family of podcasts, so you can also find a podcast that I host with Beth called the Gamer Girl Podcast. And then there's also Off the Wall, and then some other side projects, including the 1 Minute podcast. And Beth just started a brand new podcast called Milk and Cookies.
I love it.
About tech and baking. Yeah.
Love it.
So the first episode of that is out now if you want to go find that wherever you listen to podcasts. And follow the Radio Chaos Instagram for updates. Join the Discord, of course, that's where everything goes down. And yeah, you can find me on my YouTube channel at Purple Riolu. I stream every weekend. Currently doing Fire Emblem, so that's been fun.
Ooh.
Nice.
Yeah, the original not the original, the Game Boy Advance Fire Emblem. The first one to be localized, but...
Is that the one with the, like, not the rock, paper, scissors mechanic, but like the battle axe, sword? You know what I'm talking about?
Yes, yep.
Okay.
Yeah. Yeah, we've been calling it Sal.
Oh, that's great.
Swords beat axes, axes beat lances, lances beat sword. Yeah, it's been a joke, actually.
That's really funny. I love that.
Sal, remember Sal. Yeah. So, anything else, Liz, that you can think of?
I guess if you need other anime recommendations in between episodes, you can check out Lazara on Waku Waku. That's where I keep all of my anime lists. I don't use anime lists, it's a little bit too overwhelming for me.
Fair.
But you can check out Waku Waku. It's a very good community. People just write reviews and you could like them, save it to your list. So check me out on there, and that's about it.
Awesome.
Mhm.
Well, with that, thanks to everyone for listening. Thanks for joining us, Adam.
Yes, of course.
Thank you.
Have me back soon.
Yeah.
Thank you.
So,
I'm inviting myself along. It's fine.
hey, that's
You already
okay.
guessed- You already guessed when we announced Anime Brew
Yeah.
that you were going to show up for Frieren.
I mean, I couldn't let the opportunity go. And I guess I was also technically on maybe the very first thing that you guys
Yeah.
did, right? Because we talked about Howl's Moving Castle, so...
Or The Boy and the Heron.
Boy in the Heron, that's what it was.
Yeah.
Same thing.
I came on to Film Logic for House of
Yes.
the Castle.
That's what it was. That's what it was. So yeah, I'm glad to be back, and I love talking about anime. So yeah, this is great. Thanks for having me.
Of course.
Yeah, of course. And yeah, if any other anime enthusiasts listening are like, I am dying to come on and talk about this anime,
Yes.
you know, let us
Do
know
it.
in the Discord.
Yeah.
You know, we'll figure. You know, it might be a year in advance because the demand is high. I'm just kidding.
Yeah.
I might not be. I don't know. We'll see. But yeah.
You know,
yeah.
you should get your housemate on. I would love to hear her review something. That would
Yeah.
be wonderful to me.
Have her come on for Horiyama or Love is War.
Yes.
Oh,
Oh, that would be so good.
Yes. Yeah. That'd be funny. Yeah. Be like, hey, you want a podcast? Because
Yes.
Be the
you know
first
I do it.
non-anime fan on our show. At your perspective.
Hmm.
Yeah, it's really funny because I had to like explain the whole, because you know, the whole like last name thing. You know,
Right.
they call each other by their last name, and then when you're like closer, then you can call each other by their first name. I had to like explain that to
Mhm.
her with that. So yeah, it's just little nuances like that. That's fun. But yeah, for sure. Yeah. Anyway, thanks for listening, everyone. Oh, I forgot, we are getting a YouTube channel soon.
Oh
So-
yes.
That's coming very soon. So
Mhm.
you should also be able to listen over there. So yeah,
Very
that's
fun.
it.
Mhm.
Yeah.
Awesome.
Thank
Well,
you for listening. Make sure you drop a like and a review, because that
Yes.
really helps us get seen and heard. We're still quite small, but we're hoping to get bigger, but it's only with y'all's help. If you could drop a couple reviews, that would be really nice.
Yes.
And
yes.
yeah,
Okay. Well, have a great whatever hour of the day it happens to be. Hope it's a great one.
hope you enjoy.
Bye.
Bye.
Goodbye.